Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is the old guy Jack here. This bike here is a DT400C, and I don't know what the heck I've got myself into. Well, I thought it was going to be simple. Byron said when he brought it over that it ran, but he had to jump start it. What do you call it? Oh well, run alongside it and then jump on it and start it. That's what you call it. So, but it wouldn't start with a kickstart. So I thought, well, this is really pretty simple. We'll just give it a tune-up. So we went through the carburetor. I don't know if you've already seen that one, but I found a couple of problems in there, a little bit of dirt. And when we first brought it in, I checked compression was good, spark was there. I'm pretty sure I did that, checked it, but maybe I just said, well, what the heck. But anyway, I went to work on his other bike, a DT400C, and I kind of just left this one by the wayside. Well, I did the carburetor and I had that on the bench. So once I finished up on the 250, I put the carburetor back on this one, and well, I rechecked the spark and there wasn't any. So I looked in here and there was kind of a jumble of wires in here, stuff that didn't look like what it should be. And there was this little tiny battery, a little 1.3 ampere hour battery. Now that's not very much, but I thought, well, let's check it out. And I checked it and it was reading something like 0.2 volts or something like that. So I said, well, let's just put it on a charger. And I looked at it and it said 12 volts. And I said, 12 volts? Why, this is a 6-volt machine. Why do I have 12 volts? And so I got to looking into it, and I opened up down here at the stator, and there was some shiny aluminum bits down there, including the flywheel, that didn't look anything like they came from Yamaha. And sure enough, this thing has a vape system on it. Now, I had never seen, come close to, walked past, or floated past, maybe, a vape system before. So I started looking around and I figured, well, the reason it doesn't have a spark is because the battery's dead. So I hooked up another battery, 12 volts this time, and guess what? I still don't have spark. Now I started looking to try and figure out how in the world this thing is hooked up, and I came up with pictures, but I'm still pretty much stunned by it here. These the turn signals that I put on the back here are never going to work, I don't think, with this vape system. Although it does have, it is the DC system. There are two kinds. The AC system doesn't have DC for turn signals and stuff like that. And this does have a DC, but that 1.3 ampere hour battery is a little tiny thing that's meant to, I think, run RC cars and stuff. So, anyway, we're digging into it, and we're going to try and see what we can come up with. I would like to get the everything working, the turn signals and all that, but I may not be able to. So, we'll be getting into this deeper, but I don't look for a quick fix on this. So We'll see you in a bit.
Yep, it's a vape system. All right. Now, if I only knew anything about the vape system, I'd be all right, wouldn't I? So, I definitely need another battery. I think maybe this, does this change it to battery ignition? I don't know. Is this loose or anything? No. Need a new gasket because I broke this one. Well, maybe it was already broke. Looks like somebody put a little spot of something on there to hold it anyway. So, I don't know what to do next. All right, I'm confused with this vape system here. I couldn't find much information. I found a couple of pictures, and it appears that this cable comes up from the stator down here, the new stator, and that there should be 3 wires going to the voltage regulator, a yellow, a brown, and a red, and they're up here. And they come up here, but there's also black wires. There's 2 of them, and they go up and also go into this unit here. We'll go over to the other side and look at it. This unit says it's a 13 point something voltage regulator. But the black wires, I don't know if they're going in there or not. Where are they? They're going into this. And then they go, where do they go? They tie into this regulator. This regulator doesn't appear to have anything other than the red and brown, which go over here. So, and those 2 black ones. It doesn't appear to tie to this, but the red, yellow, and brown tie to this. This is the coil pack. Wow. And then this, black, and it's blue going into the coil pack. And then the high tension lead coming out. So I thought the black wires are the trigger from the pickup down below. They come out separately, but they just go right into this regulator here. Is that also the CDI unit? In the picture I found on the vape website, they showed a separate little black box that I assumed was the CDI unit. This says it's a regulator. It doesn't say anything about being a CDI unit. So I'm totally confused. Now, over here, the red and the brown wires come over, and this appears to be a ground connection. Goes back in here And I can't tell for sure, but goes down that way into the wiring harness. This was connected to the positive side of the battery. This was connected to the negative side of the battery. So the battery was dead, and I hooked up another battery, 12 volts, to see what would happen. And I think this just is the charging voltage for the battery. And this, I'm not sure. They removed the fuse, so there's no fuse on the system. There's wires hanging out here. I have no idea what they are. This used to go to the rectifier, but they still got the red one connected here, and that's going up to, I don't know for sure where it's going. I know the headlight works with the battery connected thusly, but I'm totally confused. I'm not sure how this, and this thing, whatever it is, connects to the brown wires from the regular wiring harness, and then it's got a blue wire that runs up here, and I have no idea what this is or where it goes to. Let me see if I can tell. Maybe it's a horn. It doesn't appear to be, and I don't know what it is. Oh, here's a blue wire coming back here. That's coming, where's that coming from? Who knows? Oh, that's coming out of the, I wonder if that's the key on the, or the primary connection on the coil. I really don't know. Where is it over here? I guess the person that installed this knew what was going on. This was just hanging here. So I have no idea what that's for. I'm at a loss. All right, where's my pointer? All right, so we have coming from the stator, which is here. Let's not get this out of frame. Rot, or red, weiß, or white, brown, or brown, Schwarz. Schwarz is black, and there's two black wires that come out together, and they go directly into the regulator over here. Okay, out of the regulator, we tie to the battery. So we have to assume that Schwarz is black. The AC voltage coming off of the charging coils on the stator. They come in here, get converted to DC, and come back out as plus and minus DC, regulated to 13.8 volts. Okay? So, there should be here a 15 amp fuse And here, the ignition switch. So what we've got here, we don't know. That's just the charging system, it appears. Also coming out of the stator, we have a brown, pronounced pretty much the same way, brown, and that goes to ground, as does brown down here go to ground. Everything on the vape system, brown is ground. On the Yamaha system, brown is switched power. In other words, it's the battery voltage switched by the ignition switch. Okay, we also have the Rot und Weiß, red and white, coming out of the stator. And those have to be the signals from the pickup, because they go directly to the coil. And they turn on or off the high voltage that comes out of this point. That gives you a spark. The blue wire that I was wondering about actually goes to either the ignition switch to ground out this system or to the kill switch. So it's really not all as complicated as I thought it might be. And we'll get into fixing it. Hopefully, all the components are good, but I'm not entirely sure of that. And I suspect that the way ground is around here, we got ground over here, we got our plus voltage here going to the, we'll have to send that up on the red wire up to the switch, and then the ignition switch has to turn that. When you turn the switch on, it sends that back through the Yamaha brown wires to the different accessories, your turn signals, your horn, and so on. The headlights on the Yamaha system run off a special coil on the stator that won't be there. So what I'm thinking is the headlights here have to tie into the 12-volt battery. And what else? That's about it. So that's what I think is going on. And hopefully we can get this thing to work. GoPro, stop recording. Okay, folks, well, I think I found enough information so I can get to work on getting this guy hooked up the way it's supposed to be, and I will put a fuse in it. So I'll see you next time. Stay tuned and watch me bring this thing back. I'm being optimistic, but we'll get there.